Okay, so multiplying decimals. 4 times 0.3. Okay, so it's 0.3 that usually makes this more complicated, or you look at it and you think, oh, I can't do it. So what we do is we ignore the decimal to start with. So if I did 4 times 3, you should know the answer is 12. Now we didn't actually do 4 times 3, we did 4 times 0.3, which is 10 times bigger. So now we have to make it 10 times smaller again. So if I'm going to make 12 10 times smaller, it will be 1.2. Another way to look at this is I've had to move that decimal point one place in order to get the 3. So now I'm going to put the decimal point back again one place to get 1.2. Do another example. 3 times 0.6. Okay, so we don't like 0.6, so let's do 3 times 6. So we've scaled that up by a factor of 10. So from 0.6 times 10 is 6. Scaled it up by a factor of 10. 3 times 6 equals 18. So to go back to this, we have to scale it back down by a factor of 10, which is 1.8. So there's one decimal point, we've moved it to get the 6. Then going back, we're going to put the decimal point back again, 1.8. 4 times 0.7. So we know that 4 times 7 equals 28. So 4 times 0.7 must be 10 times smaller. Move the decimal point back, 2.8. Okay, so what if we've got two decimals? What if we had 0.5 times 0.7? Okay, so we don't like 0.5, so let's call it 5. We don't like 0.7, so let's call it 7. 5 times 7 is 35. Now this time we've scaled that by 10. We've scaled that by 10. So we have to scale it back for each of those 10s. So we're scaling it back by 100. 0.35. If we look at the decimal points, we've moved that decimal point once for that one, we've moved it once for there. So once there, we have to move it back twice, 1, 2, to get 0.35. Another example, 0.2 times 0.9. So we know that 2 times 9 will equal 18. So we've scaled that by 10, that by 10, so we have to scale back by 100. So that's 0.18. So we've got one decimal point moved there, one decimal point moved there, so we're going to have to move it back 2 decimal points to get 0.18. 0.9 times 0.4. I know that 9 times 4 is 36. But I'm scaling it back 1, 2, 100 times smaller, 0.36. Okay, so a little bit more complicated. What if we had 1.4 times 2.4? So this time I've got slightly larger decimal points, but I'm going to do exactly the same thing. I'm going to treat this as 14 times 24. A number of ways I need to be able to do 14 times 24. Most of you have seen that I like this method. I'm going to make my grid. Put my diagonals in. 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 1 is 2. 4 4s 16. 1 times 4 is 4. Add up down the diagonals. 6, 8, 9, 13. Carry 1. 2, 3, and that's a 0, 336. So I know that 14 times 24 is 336. But I've scaled that up by a factor of 10, I've scaled that up by a factor of 10, so I've got to scale back by a factor of 100, so that would be 3.36. I moved the decimal place once, I moved it again, once here, that's twice, so I've got to move the decimal point back twice, 1, 2, 3.36. Another example, 2.4 times 1.9. So again, let's ignore the decimal point. 24 times 19. So I've got to work out 24 times 19. 24 times 19. One 4 is 4. 1 2 is 2. 4 9s 36. 2 9s are 18. Add up down the diagonals. 6, 15, 4, 456. So I now know that 24 times 19 is 456. I've scaled up by a factor of 10 and scaled up by another factor of 10. So I'll scale back down by a factor of 100. Or I'll move the decimal point once, and it once there, that's twice, so I've got to put it back twice. 1, 2, 4.56. Okay, 3.6 times 1.2. 36 times 12. Again, do the sum over here. 36 times 12. Make the grid. 1 6 is 6. 1 3 is 3. 2 6 is 12. 2 3 is 6. Add up down the diagonals. 2, 6, 12, 13. 3, 4, 432. Scaled up by a factor of 10, up by a factor of 10, so I've got to scale back by a factor of 100. 4.32. Okay, so let's put a couple more decimal points in, so you can see the pattern working again. So 2.43 times 1.04. Okay, so what would 243 times 104 be? Okay, so slightly longer sum. 2, 4, 3 times 104. Make the grid. Put diagonals in. 1 times 3 is 3. 1 times 4 is 4. 1 times 2 is 2. 0 times 3 is 0. 0 times 4 is 0. 0 times 2 is 0. 3 4s are 12. 4 4s are 16. 2 4s are 8. Add up down the diagonals. 2, 7, 8, 9, 12. Carry the 1, 4, 5, 2. 25,272. 25,272. I've scaled up by 100 here, so I'll move the decimal place 2. I've scaled up by 100 here, so decimal point gone up 2. So now I'm going to scale back 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2.5272.